Well, hi. As you can see outside, we've had a bit of snow, and also you could see my new acquisition, which is the Rover 2200 SE Auto P6 1974. It's got a little bit of a problem. Not sure you can see it from there, but I'll show you a bit closer up in a minute, which is the most of the fluid has deposited itself from the gearbox onto the drive. My Lexus is looking along towards the Rover saying, "Told you so, you're too old." So I'm going to put this camera, which is on a stick, I'll show you in the mirror. There we go. Camera on a stick under the car, and so we can see the extent of this oil leak. Wish me luck. So what I've done, don't know if you can see, is I've put the GoPro in a plastic bag, wrapped it around it, and that should protect it from the oil that's on the ground under the car while I scrape this along the floor in the oil to check the gearbox and other stuff under there. Here we go. The moment of truth, if you can hear me, because I've just realised you're in a plastic bag, and the plastic bag might be covering up the microphone. That's not the important thing. Let's get under the car now. Here we go. Here's the car. Covered in snow at the moment, but this is what we need to do. So I've got to get down here, well, not down, but tilt forwards, and I've got some tissues to put the bag in. I've done it, so the camera is extended. Well, we got water on the lens, which is interesting. It might be oil, but it might be water. Let's see. Well, so what it looks like to me is that there's it's like a protective pan or some kind of skid plate or something that's been bolted onto the bottom of the gearbox. On first glance, it does look like a BW35 gearbox, the standard one that comes with the car. So I think the first thing to do is to get that protective skid pan thing off the bottom of the gearbox, and then have a look around, clean off what I can of the fluid, gearbox fluid, and then take a look around the pan seal itself, the sump seal, and see if there's any other evidence of leaks from higher up. So the two things, other than the actual pan seal itself, or the sump seal, are the Alex mentioned the speedometer where the speedometer goes into the BW35 gearbox, which is top left of the gearbox, so underneath the passenger seat. And the other place is the where the filler tube comes down into the gearbox, to see if that is tight. So there's only really the three areas. Either that is just a catastrophic failure somewhere on the casing, in which case then it's obviously a new gearbox or recon gearbox. But the first thing I'll do is get that cover plate off, and I don't even know why it's on there in the first place. I've not seen on any pictures of the BW35 any kind of cover plate like that. So I'm going to get that off. I don't know how it's bolted to it. I think it's bolted round it. Goodness knows how, like clamps or something. There seems to be 9 bolts holding it on. So I'm going to try and get those undone. Don't ask me how, but whatever it is, I'll give it a go. I'm determined. So I've got a creeper board, so somebody can push me under on the creeper board with sockets, and we can whiz those bolts off and see what happens. But I really do need to get that as soon as you turn the starter. So as the starter turns, you see to build that pressure in the gearbox, and then once that pressure's on, it starts peeing out the cherry red gearbox fluid. But as soon as you stop the starter turning or the engine turning, it stops. It just drips for a bit and then stops. So there's got to be something pretty evident, pretty obvious under there. So I'll let you know how that goes. Thank you.